Hello everybody, welcome back to the Truncata Studios. This is Jordan, and today I have an important update in the tropics as we have some tropical activity to talk about today. First off, we have in this 96 cell, which looks like it's not going to form, although it could briefly become something subtropical or tropical before it moves into less favorable conditions. And then we have 97L, which you've probably heard of 1,000 times already in the past 12 hours. But this could become a major hurricane, and this could make landfall in the United States. Models have been trending towards landfall, and I'll discuss that in a couple of minutes. And we also have Tropical Storm Henriette, which is rapidly intensifying and could become a hurricane over the next couple of days. So anyways, let's get straight into today's video. So first off, here's Invest 97L. You can see it basically has its own forecast cone in the form of the formation area, and this could become a tropical depression or potential tropical cyclone later today because it's going to affect some land at the start of this track, and this could result in some damage and fatalities already. And this system has not even become recognized as a tropical system yet. It's just a tropical wave. And an Invest 50% chance of formation in 2 days and 90% in 7 days. This will likely form eventually if it does not later today or tomorrow. And we obviously have Invest 96L, which isn't very organized, and this probably won't form at this point, but it could still form if we do get more organization, but it'll probably be something subtropical rather than tropical. And then nothing in the Eastern Pacific other than Ivo and Henriette. Ivo is pretty much done, is expected to become a tropical depression soon and eventually become a remnant low. And then here's Henriette. Could become a hurricane over the next couple of days, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But anyways, actually I forgot something. Let me pull up the Joint Typhoon Warning Center here real quick. We have Tropical Storm Model, which is expected to become a low-end typhoon over the next couple of days before it makes landfall in Taiwan and then China. This could bring some significant impacts to parts of northern Taiwan and parts of southeastern China. So, I would pay attention to this system, especially if you are in the path of this, because this could affect some major cities, especially Taipei. Now looking at the satellite imagery here, it says Henriette is a hurricane. That's not official yet, although it could be a hurricane at the next advisory, but we really do not know until the National Hurricane Center says anything. But here's the satellite loop of Henriette, looking very much more organized now. And you can see it even has a eye. This very much reminds me of Hurricane Dawn from 2023. It didn't have a ton of high convection, but it was well organized, and that's how it became a hurricane. Here's Ivo. You can see it doesn't have much convection anymore. I won't be surprised if it gets downgraded to a tropical depression next advisory. Oh, let's look at Powell. You can see decently organized. Not all parts of the system have convection, but it's still intensifying somewhat quickly. Here's 97L, looking somewhat organized. And this is expected to become more organized over the next couple of days before it moves into some cooler waters. And then eventually I'll move it to a better environment, and it will likely rapidly intensify. Here's 96L. It does have some decent convection, but it's just not very well organized anymore, and it's probably not going to form at this point. Looking at the forecast models, look at Invest 97L. let me there. So right now this has a system having some tropical storm force winds. This does have it becoming a tropical storm briefly before it passes over the island. Then it has it becoming a hurricane, although it doesn't really strengthen until it gets farther west, where it really intensifies there. Now looking at the HMON for 97 now. You can see it doesn't really have it becoming much, and until it moves much more westward, where it's expected to become a decent hurricane there. And then here is the HEFSA. Has it becoming a tropical storm before it moves over those islands. And then it struggles to strengthen as it moves to the west until it gets far enough west where it reaches a better environment and quickly reaches her major hurricane status. Now the HEFSB also has 97L, and it has it strengthening a little bit, but then it doesn't really strengthen until it moves much more west where it becomes a Category 4 hurricane, and we've been seeing a trend of it becoming a major hurricane as it moves farther west. Now looking at the GFS, has it becoming a tropical storm near the islands there as it weakens over the land, but eventually as it moves farther west, this even has it becoming a Category 5 hurricane before it, you can see it's relatively small there, then it gets super wide, hundreds of miles wide of tropical storm force winds is pretty rare. So still these models aren't really far enough out to show impacts on mainland. And here's the Euro. You can see as it moves west, it has it becoming a decent hurricane. This is less than some of the other models, most of the other models, because the Euro typically does not show as much strength as systems and the pressure is higher. So it's probably going to be stronger than this. But this is still pretty concerning. Now we will look at the ocean temperatures. As you can see here, we have decent sea surface temperatures where it is right now, but then it will move over some of those cooler waters before moving it to warmer waters as it moves west. And here's how our sea surface temperature trends in the off the western coast of South America, where we have El Nino and La Nina form there. We are starting to trend a little bit up. We were going down, and now we are starting to go a little bit back up, which could be a sign we are going to stay neutral for a while. So anyways, that's all I have for today's video. We have Tropical Storm Henriette, which is intensifying quickly and could become a hurricane over the next couple of days. And then we have Invest 97L, which could become a major hurricane as it moves towards land over the next week or two. Goodbye.